I will try to be as unbiased as possible when it comes to the Cowboys 49ers game. But secondly, I want to talk about the Cowboys and how watching the Cowboys versus the 49ers actually helped the Eagles in so many ways. And third, I want to give you some Eagles updates, the A.J. Brown situation, Lane Johnson, Avonte Max, a bunch of little updates I kind of want to give you guys, and how good I feel going to this game for the NFC Championship against the 49ers, and should be fun. So let's get straight into the news.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
What is going on, guys? I know Eagles fans are definitely enjoying their weekend. I mean, I know. Trust me, it's a good weekend. Okay. At the end of the day, guys, like, look, you look at the playoffs, and these are real pivotal moments where you look at games like this, and you can learn a lot from these games. The Dallas Cowboys lose 12-19. Okay. Really, it was a defensive battle the whole entire game. Field goal after turnover, field goal. Dak threw 2 picks in this game. Would have been 3 at the end of the game. Should have been a pick 6 by the linebacker in the fourth quarter. He threw literally this first pass in the fourth quarter. I think not in the beginning of the fourth quarter. It was later in the fourth quarter. Got on the field and. Yeah, it looked pretty bad. I think it was after the 49ers scored their touchdown. I think that that almost was a pick 6 at that point. It really relied on both offenses, like which offense was going to produce more. I mean, that was pretty much it. That's how this game went. Both defenses played really well, but it was really up to these offenses to get something going, okay? Losing Tony Pollard in the game for the Dallas Cowboys was really bad. He's one of the main focal points of that offense because Zeke is not getting over 18 carries a game. It's just not going to happen. I think Zeke only rushed for 10 for 26. By the time Pollard left the game, and then, Cowboys had to catch up and get some throws. Cowboys players played well. Defense played well. CeeDee Lamb played well when he was dealing with the pinky injury or whatever. It looked like it wasn't even bothering him. Offensive line had good protection, but it was up to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was the weak link in that game. That's unfortunate. I think Dak Prescott was the weak link in that game. I think Kellen Moore was definitely a weak link because really the end of that game, clock management was just horrible for them. They kind of like last year. I mean, they didn't lose the same way as last year, but clock management, time management, that's why they lost. I mean, they were only down 7 points. The 49ers kind of messed up in the fourth quarter when the running back, Elijah Mitchell went out of bounds, should have stayed in bounds, let the clock keep running after that big major first down. And, the Dallas Cowboys had, 45 seconds, whatever it was. Their tight end couldn't even stay in bounds on a wide open pass when everyone's playing prevent all the way back. He stepped out of bounds. That reception never even counted, so it was really down to 5 seconds where Zeke is playing as the center. 49ers are moving everybody back. Zeke gets pummeled. Dak gets hit while he throws the ball, and that was pretty much it. You know what I mean? Before the game even started, I tweeted out, I said, I don't care if it's the Cowboys. I don't care if it's the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. I don't care because I feel like this Eagles team could beat almost anybody. The Eagles played like a number 1 seed against the Giants. Yes, it was the Giants. Yes, they were a very good team this year. But at the same time, I want to see a win like that. The team playing on all 4 cylinders. And the rumor the last few weeks of the regular season was the Eagles are dumbing down on their offense and their defense. And we're kind of like, what are we going to see in the playoffs? I don't know what's going to happen here. The Eagles chewed up 35 minutes of clock, which is just insane. But at the end of the day, the Cowboys had their shot. Don't listen to the fans and what they say because at the end of the day, the Cowboys had to prove themselves. Dak Prescott had his moment to prove himself, and he didn't get it done. And it's on him, and it's on that offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore, and that's just the truth to it all. Both defenses played great, okay? Now you look at the big matchup, okay? It's time, guys. This is it. It is time. 49ers, Eagles, NFC Championship game. This game against the Cowboys really opened my eyes a lot more. I knew for the 49ers, they haven't played a great defense all year. Regular season, nothing. Okay, that even Seattle, I don't think even the 49ers played great in the second half of that Seattle game. Okay, literally the 49ers, Brock Purdy. Okay, we're seeing the pressure that the Dallas Cowboys get on Brock Purdy. I'm sorry, but is not ready for this. is not ready for this big step in this game. Brock Purdy is not ready. That's just, the guy doesn't have enough experience. The guy showed with pressure on him, he can't do much of anything. Can't do anything. As much as these 49er fans were that cocky before this Cowboys game, I could still see them being cocky after this game, but Brock Purdy, look, if he throws touchdowns on us, I'll give him the respect that he deserves in this NFC Championship. If he beats us 40-0 or whatever the case may be, if they think he's that great and he's going to do that, then I don't know what to tell you. I'll give him his respect. But this guy is a little lamb. This guy is a baby face. This guy is not ready for the big moment. He's that lucky that he has that many weapons around him. He's that lucky. Because when the Dallas Cowboys had pressure on him constantly, he had no answer. No answer. Really, it was until the third quarter of that Cowboys game that they started to get the run game going with McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell and a few of these other guys. They got the passing game going. They got Kittle more involved. Ayuk had a good catch for a first. You know what I mean? They got more guys involved. Okay, that offense started to pick up a little bit. I think part of it was both defenses were just tired. Which defense was really going to toughen it out later in the game and make the plays? Dallas looked like they looked gassed in the second half. They looked tired, and they had to move Micah Parsons to middle linebacker because they were running really well, and having him on the edge was not doing much of anything. So they had to move him. Obviously, with the thing with Tony Pollard getting injured and all that, no one wants to see that. I don't care if it's the Cowboys or not. You don't want to see guys go on a stretcher. Hope he feels better. I hope, whether it's free agency, getting tagged by the Cowboys or whatnot, I hope he has a good offseason, and really hopefully his injury is not as bad as everyone expects it to, even though seeing a guy on the card is not a great thing. Okay, you don't want to wish injuries upon nobody regardless. But I just don't feel right about Brock Purdy. I don't. Look, I feel like he can have a good future. I mean, this is a guy that was the last pick in the draft and is already center stage on one of the biggest games in the NFL, NFC Championship game. One game, and you're in the Super Bowl. The way Dallas was putting pressure on him in his face, and every time he just had a little bit of pressure on him, he couldn't get anything done. He couldn't do anything. Okay, when I watched him against Seattle, when he had time to throw, he was great. He was awesome. But on pressure, I don't think Brock Purdy can do a damn thing. You're going into Philadelphia. He hasn't played Philadelphia. He hasn't been into he hasn't been to the Link in general. Okay. And look, this game can go either way next week, but I am fully confident in my team, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. 49ers fans were that cocky going to that Cowboys game, and I just sat back and watched. Was like, let's see, because I wasn't watching the 49ers all year, but I know that they haven't played a great defense. And the Dallas Cowboys have a really good defense, especially their front. Their front's really good, especially with Micah Parsons lurking around, DeMarcus Lawrence, and some of these other guys. They've done a good job this year, okay? But when the pressure is on Brock Purdy, man, he couldn't get anything done. And that's the one thing I could take from that game where the Eagles had the advantage, because Jonathan Gannon is going to make sure that they get in Brock Purdy's face. Simple as that. Almost threw a couple picks. It was close. There was a couple times Dallas Cowboys almost had some interceptions in this game, and it was really close. And thank God they dropped a couple of them. At least one in the back. I think one was near the end zone. I forgot. I think by Diggs. I think he dropped it. I think it was deflected at the line. It went through. I think it was right to Ayuk. I think Ayuk would have had it, but it was deflected, unfortunately. So. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the weakest links. I think the Eagles look at the tape on what's going on with the 49ers and that team, and I'm sorry, but that quarterback is just he doesn't sell it for me, because he's only has seven straight wins as of right now. Baby face, big stage. I gotta respect the guy that's that young and is on the big stage, but I can't trust it. I just don't trust Brock Purdy in that offense. I feel like if the Eagles have pressure on him, he will not get these throws on scrambling. I just don't. He can't scramble in general. I mean, I've seen him scramble a little bit here and there, but Eagles have a huge chance right now with the defensive line 100% healthy, having guys back and ready to go. This is a team that broke their own record in sacks. This is the team that played a really good when it came to pressures. You're facing the number one defense, obviously, for our offense, but this is the second best defense in the league. I don't think when you take Purdy and you take Hurts, you take both of these guys. They're two different players. Two different players. That's just what it is. So if there's one weak link to that team, because they have great weapons, McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Brock Purdy gets shut down. There's nothing's going to happen with the rest of that team. He's got to get them the ball at the end of the day. But I got to give Dallas credit because that defense, this was the first game Brock Purdy faced a really good defense. And it was tough for him. So that's all I got to say about Brock Purdy. I'm not sold on him as much as they think he's the future because of where they are right now. Let Brock play. Brock Purdy play a whole season. You know what I mean? Next year will really tell them if they really made the right decision. And players know how to, and teams will start. There's no blueprint on Purdy. Obviously, he's played some games this year, but going into next year, teams will have to prepare for them, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not on board with the Brock Purdy thing. As just a fan of the NFL, looking at Brock Purdy, I'm just not a fan of it. I just don't think. I think there's fool's gold in there. I feel like he's just doing just enough with a lot of weapons around him. I feel like he brings nothing to the table. I think he's a tough player. I think he's, I feel like he's poised. He's a poised player and he doesn't give up. And I don't think he, But you've seen the look on his face during this game when he was really trying to. When he was struggling, he struggled today, but they're going to give him extra protection. They're going to waste some bodies, give him extra protection and try to get these passes off if that's not what they're doing. But he has a lot of weapons around him. So that's what I got to say about that with Brock Purdy and just what I think. I know I've been rambling a little bit, but I just don't trust it. Simple as that. I really don't. Lastly, I want to go through the A.J. Brown situation. Everybody has been asking about this. Now, A.J. Brown said he's good, everything's fine. So it was the fourth quarter. The Eagles want to score another touchdown. Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts. He throws it was a go route or whatever it was. Overthrew a ball to A.J. Brown. That would have been a touchdown. And he went on the ground. He got up real slow. We thought he was injured. And everyone's like, is he injured? Is it a hammy? Is he cramped up? Blah, blah, blah. So he never went into the blue tent. He was never reported he was hurt during the game. We would have at least heard that he was hurt. But he was on the sideline. They showed him on the sideline a couple times. Nick Sirianni went up to him, and A.J. Brown looked pissed off. He looked like he didn't want to talk to anybody. Even when Nick talked to him on the sideline, he wasn't even looking at him. So I'm like, what's his problem? What's going on? Talked to a few Eagles fans. I think he's a diva. I think he's starting to, be a little selfish. I don't think so. I think all it was, and I think 100% this is what happened. I think because they told A.J. they were going to start running the ball and they were going to start to bench people, and they were just trying to bench A.J. Brown, and they did. They just said, hey, we're just going to bench you for the rest of the game. We're going to be taking starters out. We're going to start running the football a lot more to chew some clock out. We don't need you on the field. I think A.J. Brown got pissed off. I think he got a little pissed off. Really, the only starters that were in that offense, I think, were Dickerson and Samalo? I don't know. I forgot. I know there was only two offensive linemen, and obviously, Kenneth Gainwell, I think, was still in there, but that was really the only starters they really had in there. You only put so many backups in a game when, you're up by a lot of points and whatever the case may be with that. But A.J. Brown was just mad because he just couldn't play. That was it. I think that was really it. I think because he didn't want to get benched. He didn't have a strong game, but I don't care about that. There's so many weapons on this team. Dallas Goedert had his catches. Devontae Smith had his catches. I expected at least A.J. Brown to get double covered in this game. Wasn't a lot of opportunities. Plus, they had 268 rushing yards. So I thought A.J. Brown had to cut really some good blocks. You know what I mean? So, there wasn't no Quez Watkins in this game. Quez Watkins isn't mad. It is what it is. A.J. Brown was just pissed off because he didn't want to get benched. So I'm expecting A.J. Brown to have a big game probably next week and with more opportunity to see how the 49ers are going to line up with that defense, how they're going to line up on this Eagles offense with these wide receivers. So it should be a lot of fun. Plus, they were not only that, but they were doing double tight end sets as well. But they ran, like I said, they ran for 268 yards with all the running backs. So the ball can only go, whatever is working for your offense during the matchups you have, it's working there. I think A.J. Brown would have had a big game. I think any of these receivers can have a big game, but it's just how the game goes. Whatever players get their shot, they get their shots. And if it works, they keep going to these players. It's not taking Quez out of the offense or taking A.J. Brown out of it, or they don't want to target him anymore. And the Eagles fans need to chill out with this because, it's not like A.J. Brown's the only good receiver we have, and tight end. You got weapons everywhere. I mean, they were running on 3rd and long and getting first downs. I mean, they had a lot of promise in that run game. They ran with poise. That's just the truth to it all. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. So I don't want people to make a big deal about it and all that stuff. So just chill out on it. A.J. Brown said he was good after the game. He said, no, I'm good. Just didn't want to get benched. He didn't want to stop playing. He wanted to keep playing the rest of the game. Don't matter if they were up by 3 touchdowns or not. He still wanted to play. So I 3, 4 touchdowns, whatever it was. He just wanted to play. It is what it is. The Eagles won 38-7, and Nick wanted to just bench guys down, and that was it. Other than that, I Lane Johnson was another one I was really, surprised over. And Lane Johnson played 68 out of 70 snaps. Played 68 snaps. I mean, that's a long time, and he played really good. Beginning of the game, he kind of was moving around. He was kind of twitching a little bit, like he was hobbling a little bit, it looked like he had an injury, but I think he was fine. I mean, this is a guy that's really fighting to play, man, and he really showed it. I got to give Lane Johnson a lot of respect here. You know what I mean? So he dealt with 2 ankle injuries. Now he's dealing with this abductor injury, which is the groin injury that needs to get surgery on, and he's doing pretty well. So expect Lane Johnson to probably rest, for a few days, probably middle of the week, and then probably the last two days, but last 3 days, I think 2 practices and 1 walkthrough, I think they'll put him on, and that's really all the work he's going to have for the week. You want to rest him as much as possible. And obviously that defensive line for the 49ers is really good. Okay, and obviously Nick Bosa is definitely something to, you have to contain, and they have to protect Jalen Hurts, and that's going to be one player you're going to have to watch out for, especially on the edge, whatever side he's going to line up on. And Avonte Maddox, I already kind of knew this. I mean, there was a bunch of reporters saying about Avonte Maddox at the game. He was out of a walking boot, which I already knew that because he practiced the last 2 days. I think it was Thursday, Friday he practiced. He warmed up with the team and stuff Thursday or Friday, one of those 2 days. So you still got some reinforcements coming back regardless of what's going on. So Avonte Maddox comes back. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson moves back to the safety spot. To be honest with you, man, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, man, I really like him at the nickel spot for the playoffs. But it's nice to know that you can move him around if you have to because of matchups. So if Avonte Maddox is playing bad, or Avonte Maddox comes back for his 3rd time off injury, or comes back for the 3rd time and gets injured again, we know that we have to, Reed Blankenship playing at a high level, playing really well, gotta say. Reed Blankenship only gave up those 2 passes for some yards in coverage, and then really after that he was fine. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson holding it down, whether it's nickel or it's safety, and I feel comfortable with that wherever they put him at. So it's a good thing. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I am ready. I'm officially ready for this game next week. I want to talk a little bit just about Brock Purdy, and like I said, to go on review of all of this, Cowboys had every opportunity to win that game against the 49ers. I didn't care what team we were going to face. Dak Prescott was the weak link. Dak was the weak link of that whole entire team and their offensive coordinator, because I thought the time management was really horrible at the end, and it was bad. I mean, they don't know how to finish a playoff game, I guess. I don't know. Missed opportunities, obviously, but definitely Dak is the weakest link there. And then, obviously the Brock Purdy situation and why this matchup really does help us, because this is a rookie quarterback, last pick of the draft, at the big stage going into Philadelphia, and what the Cowboys did to him with pressure. I think the Dallas Cowboys really put on some good tape for us this past week. No joke. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm going to have a lot of fun definitely going through this whole team. And Eagles have a big chance here to really. This is it. I mean, this is it. You win this game Sunday, you're in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's a very exciting thing. This team deserves it. This team is, especially how they played against the Giants and what they looked like in their first playoff game. Really shows me that the coaching staff is not messing around, So it's a lot of fun. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I know this video was almost 20 minutes. I am sorry. But, I just wanted to kind of, I might have repeated myself 10 million times in this video, but I don't care. It is what it is. That's who I am. But other than that, let me know what you guys think about what is the biggest weakness for the 49ers in the matchup next week? What do you think is going to happen? And how many people are happy the Dallas Cowboys are repeating themselves again for, now 28 years? You guys let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shake Squad up, follow us, peace out, guys. Peace.